I glanced at my wrist. 23 hours, 48 minutes, and 25 seconds of life remaining, yet I felt no panic. Instead, I gazed calmly out the window. I had to find a way to add more time to my wrist, or I wouldn't survive past tomorrow. I put on my work uniform and prepared to leave, heading out to do something that could extend my life. Time was critical, forcing me to run the entire way. The corpses scattered everywhere along the road no longer stirred any emotion in me, all poor souls who had died when their countdowns reached zero. To avoid sharing their fate, I could only work relentlessly, year-round. The moment I stopped would be the moment I died. When I collected my wages after work, I discovered my pay had been cut in half from yesterday. I wanted to argue, but the staff member simply stated with a blank expression that this was the compensation matching my labor output. If I didn't like it, I could leave. Their unyielding attitude left me powerless. The rising prices and falling wages filled me with dread.
I'm 105.
Humanity had long ago used genetic technology to freeze physical aging at 25. But once you pass that age, a 365-day countdown would appear on your wrist. Only through labor could life be extended, and I had barely managed to survive to 28 through constant work. Perhaps having witnessed too much darkness, the wealthy man spoke frankly. Vast amounts of time remained concentrated in the hands of a few, but their immortality required the majority to pay the price. While he enjoyed his privilege, he also despised this world's system, believing no one should die from poverty. The rich man then posed a question. If you had as much time as I do, what would you do? I glanced at the life on my wrist and replied calmly, I wouldn't waste a single second. My answer brought a slight smile to the corner of his mouth. The next day, when I woke from sleep, I instinctively pulled back my sleeve to check my wrist. The number stunned me. 116 years of life counting down. I looked around. The wealthy man had vanished. I quickly stood and walked to the window, where a new line of text had appeared on the glass. That evening, I bought a bouquet and stood at the bus stop. I wanted to share this wonderful news with my girlfriend. We would never have to struggle for time again. But even after the last bus departed, she hadn't appeared. Sensing something was wrong, I immediately ran toward her factory. When she'd left that morning, she had only 3 days remaining. After paying rent and electricity, she would have just an hour and a half of life left. Everything had been carefully calculated. As long as she caught the bus, she could meet me in the shortest time possible. What she hadn't anticipated was that the 10-minute journey had inflated to cost 2 hours. Even her pleas to the driver were useless, and when she sought help from others, no one would assist her. She had no choice but to get off. At that moment, every passing second could be her last breath in this world. Faced with a 2-hour walk, her only option was to run. This was the tragedy of the poor. Every second was precious, or they would lose their very lives. She ran desperately as time rapidly drained away. Just then, I appeared in the distance. As I was about to successfully transfer time to her, in that final second, she collapsed in my arms. The numbers on her wrist turned black at that very moment.